And there have been
risky.
moments when both parties have cooperated. You talk about that in your book a little bit. I mean, with Barack Obama and some of the leaders on the right when it came to some tech policy and the like, but it's rare. Right?
It's rare, and we need
Whose
more of it.
fault is that?
It's everybody's fault. I think it's equal. I mean,
Yeah.
basically, I stay out of the politics side of it, try to focus on policy and be a little bit of a
You really do, because I was
builder.
reviewing in the book, and I thought you might tip your hand, and I've always figured you out. Now, maybe he's just a rich liberal, but I can't prove it, because there are pictures of you with Barack Obama, pictures of you with Hillary Clinton, the pictures of you with Marco Rubio and George Bush. So are you going to say on this show whether you're just a gazillionaire liberal or a gazillionaire libertarian? What?
I'm just an American trying to do my part.
But
in all seriousness, I think there is a role for some people, and it's a role I've chosen to play now for the past 3 decades, is to try to be somebody in the center who brings people together. And there's strong differences, I understand that, but we need to figure out a way to have more common ground and more compromise. Otherwise, America is going to lose its way in this third wave. There's a whole new revolution that's happening, and it's going to impact a lot of sectors, healthcare, education, which I talk about in the book.
Yeah,
But if we don't figure out a way to lean into that future and create a way to kind of have the right policies, whether it be tax policies or investment policies or regulatory policies.
But this is bigger than that, right? I mean, Alvin Toffler, I think you said at the outset of the book what you read as a student again and again, his book, The Third Wave, and all. Showed me that you were probably a nerd in school, but that's fine. That's fine.
I wasn't particularly nerdy, but I was captivated by the book. I picked it up when I was a senior in college, 1980, and Toffler's vision of the future, what he called the third wave.
We started out agrarian, right? Everything was farming, and we went through the
agricultural revolution, industrial revolution,
age.
technology revolution, and he was basically the early side of the technology.
Now, you've taken those 3 waves post the information age.
No, basically, I'm saying there's 3 waves of internet innovation that I've watched. The first wave was
part of.
In 1985 to 2000, building the internet, building awareness of the internet, getting people connected to the internet, which seems obvious now, but when AOL started 31 years ago, only 3% of people were online. Only 1 hour a week. So that was just building the internet. The last 15 years, the second wave has been building on top of the internet. So it's apps and services, Google and Facebook and Twitter and things like that. Basically software. The third wave is going to be integrating the internet seamlessly throughout every aspect of our lives, finally revolutionizing learning and health and food and transportation.
With everything we do.
Ubiquitous. And that's why I call it the internet of everything, not just the internet of things, but it's going to require different entrepreneurs with a different mindset, a kind of different playbook, and that's why I try to outline in the book, and require government to take a fresh look at this to make sure.
But I don't think government understands it or grasps it. On the other side, you talk in the book about decades from now, when historians write the story of the technological evolution, they will argue that the moment the internet became a ubiquitous force in the world was when we started integrating it into everything we did. This is the beginning of the third wave. Now, this third wave lasts how long?
15, 20 years. It's sort of.
So it started now in 2016.
It evolves. These things don't. It's not like one thing ends and one thing starts. And some of the second wave kind of innovations around apps will continue.
All right,
but
so
the center of gravity is shifting.
The prominent names of this revolution right now that are out there, whether they're Amazon or Facebook or at all, they're the ones who will be what you were in the first wave. And who is going to be in the third wave?
It's early to say. And some of them will be big companies.
Could you whisper to me some names?
With a little list of companies to acquire.
Did I tell you about this New York poll? Oh, anyway, go ahead.
No, I think the challenge, and I put this forward in the book, both for entrepreneurs and for corporate executives, is there's a different world that's emerging. Opportunities are there, but also risks. So if you're a large company, a Fortune 500 company, don't just sit on the sidelines and try to play defense, protecting the status quo. Lean into the future. But some of that will be partnering with the entrepreneurs.
That's where you confuse me a little bit. Are you saying that every company worth its salt has a website or whatever, but that's not good enough, right? You've got to be intuitive enough to know that we were all online and that it's just considered basic.
And you've got the key 3 Ps that will drive the third wave are partnership, policy, and perseverance. A partnership, there's an African proverb I talk about, which if you want to go quickly, you can go alone, but if you want to go far, you must go together. So even large companies need to partner, including with small companies, and creating a network around your company so you're aware of what's happening around the edges is critically important. Now, you may be a customer of that, you may be an investor in that, in some cases you may acquire that, but if you just rely on your own internal development, you will be left behind in almost all cases. Similarly, the entrepreneurs of the third wave, it's not just about dropping an app in the App Store and hoping you're the next Snapchat. It is about partnering with the leaders in healthcare, the leaders in education, the leaders in all these different sectors. So
you mentioned healthcare, and I thought of that. You didn't get so much into the weeds on it, but healthcare is a place where we could use this type of thing. I just wonder, with the federal takeover of healthcare, this is my opinion, whether we're inhibiting that.
It's a mixed bag, and I understand there's strong views on the Affordable Care Act or Obamacare. There are some things that actually have unleashed some innovation in healthcare. They kind of a push for electronic medical records.
Do you feel comfortable the government handling that? Just from the, I know where the government's good or bad.
I think the government sets the rules, but ultimately it's the marketplace, particularly the entrepreneurs, that drive the innovation. So in healthcare, there's now much more venture capital investing in health tech, they call it. Started with wearable devices, things like Fitbit. Now a lot of people focusing on chronic disease management, also focusing on smarter precision medicine about life-threatening diseases. And some of that innovation will come from the big companies. Most of it, I'll bet, will come from the entrepreneurs. And the big companies need to understand that. And that whole idea of co-opetition is something that I think is going to be very important. Part of the reason I wrote the book is that was the key factor in the first wave. The internet never would have happened. AOL never would have happened without partnership, without engagement with government on policy, and without perseverance. Those three Ps were not that important in the second wave, but are going to become important again in the third wave. And that's why finally,
when so many other internet kingpins of the 80s did not.
I think you keep moving forward. You keep trying to bump into people and ideas.
But you just didn't try to cash in and get out.
I love entrepreneurship. I love the stories I hear. I travel around. I do these Rise the Rest bus tours because I think part of the story of innovation, it's not just Silicon Valley or here in New York. It's all across the country. Great entrepreneurs building great companies.
What I found very humanizing is that you didn't always get great grades. So I was
the average student. I was much more interested in the stuff I was doing outside the classroom in terms of business than inside the classroom. But I learned a lot, and I'm grateful for that great education.
What bums me out is you and I are about the same age. You seem to have done a little bit more with your life. The third wave in an entrepreneur's vision of the future, Steve Case, it does make you think because it takes it to the next level.